Every day we make decisions that could affect the rest of our lives. Is today going to be the day you quit smoking? Should you text that girl back? Are you going to stop being such a piece of shit and get out of bed before 3:30 in the afternoon? The answer to all three is a resounding no. Bed is comfy, relationships are hard, and smoking's cool as hell. Get out of here, nerd. What's interesting is people tend to make better decisions in video games than they do in real life. I don't hang out in my room until 3 o'clock in Stardew Valley. No, I get up at the crack of dawn and I get on that farm shit. Never once have I ignored a text from one of these anime bitches. And I'm not going to pick up a nasty habit and... no, that was phenomenal. Smoking's cool as hell, what the fuck? I think the reason for that is video games tend to offer a much less complicated route of progression. You do the good thing, you get the good ending. You do the bad thing, you get the bad ending. It's not exactly Sophie's Choice. In the words of famous author Robert McKee, the choice between Paragon and Renegade is no choice at all. And I think that's the problem with multiple endings in video games. A title drop. Multiple endings are a blessing and a curse that only video games and maybe Goosebumps have to wrestle with. I know everyone got real mad at Mass Effect 3's ending for making a tits of things at the last hurdle, but I'm more interested in the moment-to-moment consequences that multiple endings have in the entire game. Also, I never played Mass Effect. The Citadel is so fucking boring, I'm sorry. For me anyways, once I'm told that my actions will affect the ending, I tend to spend the entire game trying to get the best outcome possible. With games like Prey or Dishonored, it's easy to get so caught up in getting the good ending that you stop making choices based on your own moral compass and more on the game's. I'll keep it vague to avoid spoilers, but there's this bit in Prey where this girl is like, I want to know who killed my dad. And you're like, I also want to know who killed your dad. But then it turns out that you killed her dad. But then you forgot. But then you remembered. And now you're stuck with this real moral conundrum. Should you come completely clean, or maybe withhold the information that holds you responsible? Are you even responsible? You've had your memory wiped, and if a man is just an accumulation of events they've experienced, is it right for you to be held accountable for the actions of what is functionally an entirely different person? What makes a person who they are? Do previous actions outweigh current intentions? Would she be happier not knowing the full truth? Do you even have the right to be asking these— Oh, no. Yep, you get more good boy points for telling her. Hey lady, what has 2 thumbs and killed your fucking dad? What's funny is I don't even think that choice has any real meaningful impact on the ending, outside of like a throwaway line of dialogue. But the notion that it might had already cemented my decision. Another example would be the Masquerade level in Dishonored, where you have to eliminate Lady Boyle, and you can either give her a good old-fashioned 100% American killing, or sell her to this creepy stalker to presumably live out the rest of her life in isolation as a sex slave. Now, not to fill your heads with liberal propaganda, but if my options are death, or being this guy's sex toy for the rest of my life, and then death, I'm gonna take option number A like a flying knee all day long. But, wouldn't you know it, Dishonored thinks murder is bad, like some kind of narc, and so it categorizes pawning her off to this dude as the noble thing to do. And that's what I did. I didn't decide her fate by my own initiative, I decided I wanted the good ending. It's like you don't pick and choose which little sisters to save and which to savagely murder on a case-by-case basis. You make that decision one time, at the start. And that's another issue with the whole good ending, bad ending thing, is that it sorta soft locks you into a playstyle from the get-go. You play the game one way and get one ending, and then if you care enough, you play through it again the other way and get the other ending. I get that adds replayability, but it comes at the cost of having your mechanics split in two. There's the good playthrough mechanics and the bad playthrough mechanics. I remember playing Undertale for the first time, and I killed a frog in the tutorial area just to know what the combat was like. And not only did that lock me out of the good ending, but this mushroom also called me a dick, just for playing around with the mechanics. You really have to commit to killing everyone or killing no one before you even hit play, or else the ending you get is literally phoned in. Now, save scumming is when you save your game right before a big choice or critical moment, and then reload that save if things don't work out as intended. Usually I never save scum, by which I mean I always save scum and then lie about it. And during both Dishonored games, I was reloading checkpoints like a madman, just to avoid the possibility of someone calling me an asshole back at the tavern for killing an armed assailant in self-defense. Maybe I'm just fucking neurotic and that's the problem, but it's like I was more concerned with getting the best outcome than I was with having fun. I get there's the whole it's harder to do the right thing angle, and so you get rewarded with the good ending, Like, befriending the enemies in Undertale is harder than killing them, and sneaking around in Dishonored is harder than killing everyone. But it's also usually way more interesting, so that's what I'd be doing anyway. Having to play the game you spent money on is hardly a deterrent. GTA 5 basically asks you what ending you want right before the last mission, and you can either kill your best friend, kill your other best friend, or, if you want the good ending, you have to do an extra super fun special bonus mission. What a dilemma. Now, for all my bitching, I do still think when it comes to deciding an ending, choices are better than checklists. I remember playing We Were Here Too with my friend Jordan, and we got stuck on the last puzzle for like 40 minutes. Eventually we gave up and googled the answer, and turns out we never pulled some hidden lever back in level 3 or something, and now we were stuck with the bad ending. Fuck that. But to really drive home how dogshit that kind of game design is, I'm going to give you guys a brief rundown on how to get the good ending in Final Fantasy X-2. Throughout the game, this old man will pop up from time to time. Each time you see him, you have to talk to him and listen to a 45-minute long lore dump. If you skip even a single line of dialogue, mission failed. If you don't talk to him every time, mission failed. At the end of Chapter 3, during this cutscene, press the X button 4 times. There is no button prompt telling you to press the X button. If you do not press the X button 4 times, mission failed. After defeating the last boss, as Yuna is walking through this field of flowers, press the X button once. This will make a small child appear. Once again, there is no button prompt telling you to press the X button. If you do not press the X button 1 time, fission mailed. The small child will then ask you a question. If you followed this guide and answered the child with yes, then congratulations, you've gotten the second best ending to Final Fantasy X-2. To get the actual for real most best good ending, you have to complete the game 100%, which involves things like not skipping any cutscenes and talking to this very missable hidden NPC during the prologue, because fuck you, you pathetic bag of meat. I have played 3 Final Fantasy games in my life. One taught me love, one taught me patience, one taught me pain. Now, this isn't to say multiple endings are bad. I mean, obviously this is just the worst, but for the most part, I actually really like when a game reacts to the player's actions. I know it's not a perfect example, but I think Skyrim 2 is on the right track on how it handles things. You're constantly making choices in that game, but they're never as clear-cut as good guy thing or bad guy thing. In my playthrough, I accidentally fed just a bunch of kids to some crones, and I fucking stand by each and every decision I made that led up to that. Most other games would have just put a big old devil emoji on my report card or something and called it a day. The Witcher allows its complicated situations to have complex conclusions, and I think that's a good template to follow. The ending isn't determined with a binary morality system, and so you don't feel pressured into playing a certain way. It's always satisfying to see how your actions directly impact the world around you, and video games are pretty much the only medium that can offer that experience. It's just a shame that more often than not, it's whittled down to a happy or a sad. Anyway, that's about it for today. Question, call to action, social media, and next time when our topic will be retconned, because this is the bad ending. Also, Metal Gear Solid 1 had multiple endings.
Went this way, I took a test to become an MC. Orange Crush became amazed at me. Well, they threw me inside the Cadillac. The chauffeur drove off and he never came back.